Hi, my name is Casey Yarbin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mandura, and I want to thank you for joining us for this training on why to build a Mandura business. You see, the why is more important than anything else. It's more important than how to build the business, because if your why is big enough, you'll figure out how to build the business. You see, when I was with Excel Telecommunications as a representative many years ago, my reason why for building that business was so strong that it caused me to become successful. My wife was pregnant with our first son. My goal was to make it to where she could stay home with our son and then raise all three of our boys now. And we've been very fortunate to do that. But you see, my why had to be strong enough so that I could figure out how to build that business. Did I make mistakes in that business? Absolutely. But my why was strong enough that it caused me to press on and to move forward so that I could become successful with Excel. And so your reason has to be strong as well. Now, what do you want? Do you want to make additional income? Of course you do. Who doesn't want to make additional income? But it's not just enough to say, yeah, I want to make some additional income. You got to write down what you're planning on doing with that additional income. You got to set goals, and it's got to be in writing. That way you can follow through with it. Are you looking to get out of debt with that additional income? Pay off credit cards and car loans, and what about paying off your home before the 30-year term? How awesome would that be to live in your home debt free? So you got to write these things down. Like I said, it's not enough to just say, yeah, I want some more income. You really got to make a commitment so that you can move forward on what you're wanting. Are you tired of running out of money, saying no to your spouse or kids or even yourself when things come up in life? How about not having enough money to take a real vacation, going further and further into debt? You need to write out goals of what you want to stop, as much as things that you want to do. And so it's critical that you set those goals and create those reasons. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. If it were easy, everybody would be a millionaire. But you know what? You got to want the goals that you set for yourself, and you got to want it bad. You got to be willing to make a commitment and have the reasons why you're going to build. You don't have to say, I want to be a millionaire. You can say, you know what? I want to be out of debt. I'd like to own my home. I'd like to retire before the age of 65. Those are things that you've got to make a commitment to. Do you want to add additional income to your retirement, or be able to retire early? If you continue to do what you're currently doing now, what kind of retirement will you have, and when will you be able to retire? Statistically, in America, 98% of Americans cannot retire at age 65 after putting 40 years into work, because as soon as they stop working, their income is drastically cut. And with the cost of living going up, most people are not able to retire. And so, what can you do now to change that moving forward? You see, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. And that's across the board. As Americans, we keep doing the same things again and again and expecting things to happen. I'll worry about retirement later. I'll worry about my kids' college education later. Well, no, it's now that you got to make those decisions, and you got to find a vehicle that helps you to get out of that normal rut that most people are in because of the vehicle they've selected. So it's absolutely crucial that you find the right vehicle. You see, there's only four types of income. And do you want the time freedom that comes with having a residual income? There's only four that you can choose from. You have to choose one of these because you're currently in one of these situations. The first one is you can have a lot of money, but most people have little time freedom to go with it because they're trading time for money. If, let's say, you make $500 an hour or $1,000 an hour, it doesn't matter. If you have to trade the time for the money, if you want to make a lot of money, you got to put in the time, and you have little time freedom to show with it. Now, there's some people that have a lot of time freedom but have little money because they're not putting a lot of effort into making money, which is fine, but they've got a lot of time freedom. So some people are in that category. Now, you can also have very little income and very little time to enjoy the things that you want. It seems like the money runs out before the end of the month, and it's paycheck to paycheck. It's not the best situation. Now, there's some people that have a lot of money but also have a lot of time freedom to go with it because they've found a vehicle that allows them to make money without putting the time in. Now, out of the four, which one do you want? And I hope it's obvious, and all of you are out there saying, "I want number four," and I hope nobody out there saying, "Give me number three." And that's not a good thing. But the question is that out of the four, which one are you currently in? And then you have to ask yourself, what I'm currently doing, will it ever give me number four? Will it ever give me the potential for number four? And if the answer is no, then you have to do something different. Like I said before, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. If what you're doing has the potential of only number three, well, then you got to do something different. There's got to be a change there. You got to have a reason why you want to make that change. But I'm here to tell you that Mandura has the ability to allow you to get into that number four quadrant so that you can start making more money and have the time freedom because of the residual nature of the business. Now, do you want to change a life? Is that the reason you want to start a business? How about changing your own life or helping others to change physically or financially? Or how about feeding a child in need? You see, Mandura's partnered with Kids Against Hunger to provide a meal with every bottle that we sell so that we're going to put that food back in the local communities to make a difference in those local communities. And so, is that your reason for building the business? Now, why are you going to build the business? You see, your why has to be strong enough. It's got to be stronger than anything else because, like I said, if your why is strong enough, you'll figure out how to build the business. You'll overcome the objections and you'll learn how to build the business. Now, do you need additional funding for college for your children or grandchildren? Or what about giving a scholarship to somebody that you really care about? Do you want do you want to be able to improve your health? And that's one of the neat things about Mandura is that it's not just a financial opportunity, it's a way that you can improve your health so that as you age, you have a better quality of life. How many of us want to have that better quality of life as we age? We can't stop aging, but you know what? We can do things in our lives to slow down the process and to have a better quality of life. And so, is that your reason for building the business? Would you like to be able to support your parents or other family members later in their life? But you know what? In order to be able to help them, you got to be able to not only support yourself, but have enough left over to make a difference in the life of a family member. So, how about wanting to take a real family vacation? Not this 1 day, 2 day thing, but taking a real family vacation. But how about more than one a year? How about visiting another country, having the time freedom to be able to go to another country, to experience that country? How about going on a missions trip? I know that many times in my life I've wanted to go on a missions trip, but you got to have time and you got to have money. You got to have both to be able to do those kind of things. So why are you going to build a Mandura business? This is something that you need to put in writing. It's not something that, this video is enough. This is just something to spur your ideas, and you need to take this video, watch it a few times, and then you need to make notes. You need to write out goals. You need to make a commitment. You need to put those goals up on the mirror. You need to decide why you're going to build a business, because if your why is strong enough, you will figure out how to build the business. And we're going to do everything in our power to help you learn how to build a business. But you know what? It still comes down to your why, because nothing's easy. Nothing worthwhile is easy. But if you want it bad enough, you can achieve it. There's a great saying: if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And I believe you can. And so all you got to do is you have to believe you can, and you can achieve whatever you set your mind to. So thank you for your time, and God bless.